Taking a look here at a Surefire Delta folding knife. Like all products that Surefire makes, this thing is pretty damn awesome. All 100% made in America. Just a super tough, awesome knife. Not very often that I get a new knife. Not really much of a knife guy, but do appreciate good, well-made equipment. Like to have a pretty useful tool. This knife kind of goes beyond just a pocket knife, and it also incorporates several useful tools, and some that are neat to have that may or may not be so useful, but they're neat to have since you already are carrying a knife. I guess first thing we'll take a look at, this is a full titanium handle. So this whole deal is titanium. The blade is made out of Crucible CPM S30V steel. Basically, the knife has a non-serrated blade, just a straight edge blade, kind of a drop point here. Has a flathead screwdriver that also doubles as a flipper and also as a guard to keep your hand from going up over the blade. So pretty useful design on that. Of course, there's also this big thumb hole here if you wanted to use that to open it, but I think most people would probably prefer just to flip it out with the flipper there. The Delta Folder here incorporates this titanium frame lock. The whole handle is all titanium, so this frame lock, part of the frame, bends in and locks under the blade. Pretty strong, useful lock. So I guess some of the added features to it that kind of differentiate this thing is there's, first off, right off the bat, you can see this cutout here in the handle, and what this is designed to do is be a nut driver. So it was originally designed over some of the nuts on scope rings on most sniper type rifles, like the Badger Ordnance rings, things like that, so that you could have a tool in your pocket where you can just take it out, put it on there, tighten up the nut just like that. It also has these little grooves so that it'll do any nut that's smaller all the way down to, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or whatever, 1/4 inch nut. But basically, a nut driver, it's not designed for heavy use, but you do have something to turn them if you need to. Some of the other tools, there's a carbide window cutter, or glass breaker in here. So this is just a sharp point that you have in your pocket, so you can, on your knife, you can basically go up against glass, have a nice sharp point to hit. When I'm carrying around this knife, another thing that's a useful tool to have with this carbide window breaking tip or glass breaker is that I can pull this out of my pocket and use it if, let's say, I need to retract the bolt on an AR-15 or do something else like that. I have a lot of leverage with this, and I can stick that little tip in, pull back. There's a real specific malfunction on an AR that you need to put pressure back on the bolt, and this is a pretty useful tool to have on that. You don't need to get out a blade and stick a knife blade in there, or Leatherman or anything like that. One of the other things, of course, it has this reversible pocket clip. So it's a pretty streamlined pocket clip that's reversible. There's a webbing cutter built in, webbing or like 550 cord cutter. So you just take this and you can slide and cut a seatbelt or something. It uses a separate blade where some knives will use your main blade just in the handle, and the handle facilitates that using it, where this actually has its own separate knife blade built into that, so that is the cutter right there. That's pretty much it for most of the features on here. One of the things I'm real impressed with it too is it's a very thin profile. It's not real bulky. It seems like for a knife that has all these features and everything, it'd be a pretty bulky design, but it actually carries real well in the pocket. I also noticed that just carrying it over the last couple of days, it sits real low in my pocket, so it doesn't stick up and have a big kind of signature and not a lot of bulk there. It sits real low. As you can see, the back of this clip kind of comes all the way up to, you know, the top part, I guess, of the blade, or the top of the handle here. So it sits real nice and comfortable in the pocket, not really in the way. Oh, another feature that it has that I forgot to mention is a 12 gauge wire cutter and crimper that's basically built in right here to the handle and the blade. There's two notches, so you line that up, you stick this over the wire, and then you have all the leverage of using the blade and the handle here. So I just put it on, I have that leverage together to squeeze, and that will either cut or crimp depending on how hard I push it. You know, just another little feature built into the knife. So as far as knives go, you know, you can buy cheap knives, you can buy super expensive knives, you can buy overpriced knives, you can buy knives that give you a lot of value. Some people might say that this is a pretty expensive knife, and it is an expensive knife, but I definitely wouldn't say that it's overpriced. This knife is, I believe, a $425 retail. It is basically, I wouldn't say that it's overpriced by any means. It gives you a lot of features. The materials that they use, titanium, the crucible steel, you know, a lot of the craftsmanship that goes into it. Just like any other Surefire product, you know, people say, oh, their lights are expensive. Well, they aren't inexpensive, but they definitely are the best on the market. You know, they just basically incorporate all the best machining. They're 100% made in America. They have this no questions asked warranty, the Surefire no hassle guarantee, where they basically, it says right there, lamps will burn out and batteries will be used up. Everything else is covered by our no hassle guarantee. If it breaks, we fix it. So the same thing with the knives. Obviously there's no batteries or lamps to burn up, but anything goes wrong with it, they'll replace it or fix it. Made in USA, they mark it right here on the handle. Kind of goes with the other tools that I carry in my pocket. Of course, now Surefire kind of cornered the market on my pocket space. So I got my Surefire E2D and my Surefire pen, and now my Surefire knife. So that's what kind of makes up the quality tools that I carry in my pocket.